Hello Year 1 and welcome to Thursday's Math. So to start off our maths lesson today, a really quick recap of what we've done for the last 2 days. So we've been subtracting, crossing 10, and we've been using partitioning to help us. So I'm just going to talk through this one because I know you've had lots of practice. So we wanted to find out the answer to 18 take away 9. So first job is to partition this 18 into 10 and to its 10s and 1s, which is 10 and 8. And then we use this 10 here, and we're going to take away that 9 from the original number sentence. So this 9 here, 9, 10, take away 9. And we're going to find out what the answer is by using our number ones to 10. So we know that 9 and what makes 10, but we know that 9 and 1 makes 10. So 10 take away 9 equals 1. Then we're going to add this 8 here and this 1 together, and that's going to give us our answer to our takeaway number sentence. So 8 add 1, well we know, nice easy one. 1 more than 8 is 9. So 8 add 1 is 9, and therefore 18 take away 9 equals 9. And if we look at our tens frame at the top, we can see that, can't we? We can see there's 18. We can see that 9 have been crossed out, and we can see that there are 9 left. There's 5 here, 6, 7, 8, 9. Brilliant, you did a great job with that subtraction by partitioning. So today we're thinking about related facts and fact families, okay? So can you remember, we did this before. In our last addition and subtraction unit, we did fact families. We did loads and loads of practicing of this. So you should be ready to go. So we just need to refresh our memory. So can you remember, we actually did some fact families with 8 facts, didn't we? And we're going to come to that at the end of this lesson, but we're just thinking about 4 facts to start with. So thinking about part add part equals whole, and we're thinking about whole take away part equals part. So remember, it's really important to focus because you have addition on your brain and then suddenly you've got to switch it to subtraction. So you're really focusing on which one you're doing at which time. So we can already see that the whole in this one is 10 because it's given to us. Now, when we did this before, we used part whole models and we also used bar models. Now this time we've got tens frames. So we can see that that tens frame is full, and we know that 10 is the whole. And we can see the 2 parts by the different colours, can't we? So we're going to use what we can see here, and we're going to put it in this part whole model to make it really simple for us so we can see the numbers. So as I've said already, we know that 10 is the whole, don't we? So I'm going to pop that in the whole circle. Now you can use the 2 different colours to spot what the 2 parts are. Okay, so can you please draw yourself a part whole model like mine and put in the 2 parts. So we know that 10 is the whole, and we put in the 2 parts. So please pause the video now and put the 2 parts into your part whole model. Brilliant. Okay, so our first part, our red part, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 is a part. Now, we could use our number ones to 10 to help us find out what the other part is without even having to count it, because we know that 4 and 6 makes 10, but we can double check. Look at the yellow one. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're right. Okay, so there's our part whole model. Now, can you remember when we did this before, we have our stem sentence underneath, or our generalization underneath, to help us remember what order to put the numbers in. So our whole's already in place. Part add part equals whole. Can you remember you can switch those numbers around to help you find out what the other one is? So remember, you put your part and part in first, and you can switch those 2 parts around. And then when it comes to subtraction, we always start with that whole, don't we? And we take away a part, and again, you can switch those 2 parts around to give you 2 different number sentences. Okay, so your job is, can you think of what the 4 number sentences are for this part whole model, for this tens frame, okay? So remember, part add part equals 10. Part add part equals 10. Remember, you've got to swap them around so they're not the same. And then you're thinking about the subtraction. So you're starting with the whole, take away part equals part. And again, swapping those 2 parts around. So I know you can do this. We did this so much practice of this before. So please pause the video now and have a go at question 1. Fantastic, well done Year 1. So we're thinking about our 2 parts. So it's nice and easy to go for them in the order that they're in there first of all when we start. So our 2 parts are 4 and 6. So 4 add 6 equals 10, and then we switch them round, which, do you know what I've learned from year 2, that the word when we switch them round is commutative, which is a very big word, isn't it? So I'm sure you'll learn more about that word in year 2. So we've got, on the other way we switch them around, we've got 6 and we've got 4. So 6 add 4 equals 10. So we've got our 2 addition number sentences. Okay, and then we're thinking about our subtraction now, so swapping our brains. We've got our whole in there already. We want to take away one of our parts. So again, let's use the first part. So 10 take away 4 equals, now it's our other part now. So where's our other part? Well, our other part is 6. So 10 take away 4 equals 6. And then we're going to swap those two parts around. So this time we're going to have 10 take away 6 equals 4. Okay, so have a look, make sure you've got that right. Remember, we're looking at the part and the whole, and then we're swapping the numbers around. Okay, brilliant job, well done everybody. Okay, so question 2, we're now thinking about slightly bigger numbers. We've got 2 tens frames this time. So there's another part whole model, again, to help us just really see the 2 parts and the whole. So we can see from the number sentences that are done already that 12 is the whole, isn't it? So I can put that straight in the part whole model. Okay, and then I'd like you to fill in the other 2 sections of the part whole model. Okay, so can you please draw a part whole model and pop in the red part and the yellow part. So pause the video now to do that. Well done. So our red part, well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 as one part, and my other part is 1, 2, 3, 4. And you see how putting it in the part whole model makes it really clear what numbers we need to use. Okay, so your next job now is to think about the 4 number sentences. So 2 addition, parted part equals whole, parted part equals whole, and then 2 subtraction, whole takeaway part equals part, and whole takeaway part equals part. So you switch those 2 parts around. So in both of these, you switch the parts around, okay? So please pause the video now and have a go at those 4 number sentences. Fantastic, okay, so like we did with the last one, if we just look at the first part we've got, well, the first part is 8. So 8 add, well, my other part is 4. So 8 add 4 equals 12. And then I want to swap those around so that I've got the parts the other way. So 4 add 8 equals 12. And then I'd like to think about my subtraction. So I started with my whole again. So what part should I start with? So 12 take away. Let's start with 8 again, as it's our first part. So 12 take away 8 gives me what? What's my other part? 12 take away 8 is 4. Okay, and then I want to swap my parts around again. 12 take away 4 equals, what's my other part? 8. Brilliant. Well done, year 1. I knew you'd remember your super fact families from when we did this before. Okay, let's move on to question 3. So this time I'd like you to have a go at completing the whole thing without me talking through it. Okay, so can you draw yourself a part whole model, find out what the whole is. Look, it's not here for you this time. Okay, so you need to find out what the whole is by counting how many there are all together. Then you need to put the 2 parts in and then see if you can have a go at these 4 number sentences with no help this time. So parted part equals whole, parted part equals whole, whole takeaway part equals part, whole takeaway part equals part. So you can always find out what the whole is first and go and put that in the right place if you'd like to. Okay, it's up to you how you do it, but you can use the part whole model to help you. So I would suggest you draw a part whole model, put the numbers in, and then it'll make it a bit easier. Okay, so you're really thinking about which part goes where and where the whole goes. Okay, so please pause the video now and have a go at question 3. Fantastic, year 1, well done. Okay, so we want to find out what our whole is first of all. Remember, we can count by putting this first tens frame in our head because it's full. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So my whole is 14. Now I want to find out what my red part is and what my yellow part is. For my red part, I'm going to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is my red part. And my yellow part, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now I find out what my parts and my wholes are, I can go straight in and do my number sentences. Now I'm going to put my whole in straight away so I don't get mixed up, because I know for these first two the whole comes last. I'm going to put the whole in. Okay, and then I would like to think about the parts. So my first part I'm going to put in a 6 because that's the first one I can see, and that will help me keep it into a nice order. And then my second part is 8. So 6 add 8 equals 14. And then I'm going to swap those two numbers around, and I'm going to put 8 add 6. Oh, 8 add 6 equals 14. Brilliant. Okay, now I'm thinking about my subtraction. Well, I want to start off with the wholes. I'm going to put the whole in again because it comes in the same place in the number sentence. 14 take away. Okay, and now I want to think about my first part. Well, again, I'm going to use that 6 as my first part. So 14 take away 6 gives me my other part, and my other part is 8. Well done. And then I want to swap those two numbers around. So the first part I'm going to have is 8, and my second part is 6. So 14 take away 6 equals 8, and 14 take away 8 equals 6. Brilliant stuff, year 1, well done. So remember I said, well, we used 8 facts last time we did this, so we can definitely use 8 facts again. And remember that involves putting the whole and the part in different places, okay? So can you remember how we had 4 addition and 4 subtraction? So these first one, if I draw a line in the middle, so the top, on top of the line is all addition, and below the line is all the subtraction. So can you remember now, instead of just part add part equals whole, we can also put that whole at the start, and we can have whole equals part add part. Do you remember doing that? We put the whole first, and then for subtraction, again, like we've just done, whole take away part equals part. But we can also put that part first, and we can put the whole in the middle. So part equals whole take away part. Okay, can you remember doing that? It tested our brains, but we got super good at it by the end of all our practice. I'm wondering how well you can do today. Okay, so we'll do this one together. So first of all, I can see my parts and my whole in my 10 screen, but I want to put it in my part whole model as well, just to help me. So I'm going to count how many there are all together first of all, and I know that there's 10 here, don't I? So I'm going to take that 10, put it in my head, and I'm going to count on 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so 16 is my whole. My red part, can you count how many is in my red part with me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in my red part. And then can you count my yellow part with me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've got 9 and I've got 7. Okay, so now I'm going to think about just addition. So remember the first two are just like we've done, part add part equals whole, swapping those parts round. So we can do that one nice and easily. We can think about our first part. Our first part is 9, our second part is 7, and our whole is 16. So 9 add 7 equals 16. And then I can swap those two parts around. So it's 7 add 9. And my whole is staying in the same place. It's 16. Okay, that's not 16, that's 18, 16. And remember, I put these generalizations here to remind you. Okay, so now we're thinking about whole equals part add part. Okay, so that whole is coming at the start, and then the parts come after instead, and they still swap around in the same way they've done for the first one. So start with my whole is 16. So 16 equals, now remember part add part, I'm going to do it in the same order I did before. So 9 add 7. So 16 equals 9 add 7. And then again, where's my whole in this generalization? Well, my whole is at the start. 16 is my whole. So 16 equals part add part. I'm going to swap them around. I don't want 9 add 7 again. This one I want 7 add 9. Brilliant. Okay, now we're going to switch our brain from addition to subtraction. Okay, and we want to start with our whole again, just like we practiced a minute ago. So my whole again is 16. This time I'm doing some taking away. It's going to take one part away. So I'll start with 9 again, as it's my first one, and then that gives us the answer of 7. That's our other part. Okay, and again, I'm going to start with 16 as my whole. And I'm going to take away a part again, but I'm not going to take away 9 because I've already done that one. So I'm going to switch them round. So 16 take away 7 equals, on my other part, 9. Brilliant. Okay, now this is the one that we found the most tricky, but we know we can all do it. So remember, we want to start with a part now, and then we want to put the whole in the middle. Remember, the whole stays in the middle both times. We can always put that hole in the middle to remind us not to move it. Okay, so 16 is my whole. It's going to stay there for both of them. So I want to put one part here. I'm going to start with 9 because 9 is the first part in my part whole model. And then I'm going to take away my other part, which is 7. So 9 equals 16 take away 7. I've just put my part first. But this time I'm not going to put 9 as my part here because I've done that already. So I'm going to swap my two parts around. So this time 7 comes first. 7 equals 16 take away 9. Can you remember? It's tricky, isn't it? But well done if you've kept up with me there, because it's all going to come back to you, and I know that you can all do it. Okay, brilliant. So your maths challenge today, if you want to challenge yourself, you want to see what can I do, is to have a go at doing an 8 fact family. Okay, so I know you can all do 4 facts, but I know you can all do 8 facts. It's just about getting your mind back in it. Okay, so the part and part equals whole is all done for you. Okay, so you just need to put the right numbers in the right place, and you can use this part whole model here to help you. Okay, so I'd like you, if you're going to have a go at the maths challenge, I'd like you to pause the video to do it, because I'm going to put the answers up in a second. I'm not going to talk through the maths challenge, we're just going to put the answers up. So make sure you pause the video, don't go too far, otherwise you'll see all the answers. I really want to see who's going to challenge themselves. Okay, so really great job. And if you're going to do the maths challenge, pause the video now. Okay, well done if you challenged yourself. Here are our answers. So 13 was the whole, 8 was a part, and 5 was a part. So you want to give yourself a big pat on the back if you did that one. Great job with your maths learning today, year 1, and I will see you next week for some more maths. Bye everyone.